Like many other cities across the country, Portland's affordable housing problems grow worse every day. Some say we need the government to build more affordable housing. Some blame our land use planning system. But what are politicians actually doing about it, if anything, Al? What do you know about this topic?
Basically, they're making matters worse. By not protecting our borders, they allow low-income people to come in who soak up what affordable housing there is. So it leaves U.S. citizens without those options at that bottom end. They have systems development charges when you build. If you build something new, I think in Hillsborough it's $22,000 now for buying into all these systems, the parks, traffic impact, and all of that. You have land use, which I don't think you can find a buildable lot in Washington County now for less than about $60,000. Well, you take that 60, the 22, and then the building codes have gotten so complicated that it's hard for people to build houses that don't fail. And if you've been to Orinco Station, which is a relatively new area, there's fourplex after fourplex of these condominiums that they're ripping siding and brick off of them because they had water intrusion. And part of it is some, apparently in Spanish, up and down doesn't mean the same thing. And windows got put in upside down. The Tyvek type insulation water barrier didn't overlap, which kind of makes it run right behind. A number of reasons, but they're virtually having to do every unit in 2 of those projects, and we're talking 3 to 400 units there.
Part of the problem too, and actually I think it's bigger than the land use planning, is that it's very difficult to convince a builder to go build affordable housing when he can make just a lot more money building unaffordable housing, or it's affordable but for a much smaller number of people, because that's, it's a free market system, and they're going to want to make as much money as they can on that one house, because once it's sold, they're going to go build other houses.
And it is the land use system that creates.
Well, part of it, Eric Sten, who used to run the housing department in the city of Portland, and now it's on the mayor's office because Eric left office. They have a very difficult time getting builders. In fact, now it's mandated if you're going to build X number of buildings for housing, that some has to be set aside or built as low-income or moderate-income housing. So even along the Portland waterfront, where they're putting up all these fancy condos, they are going to have to put in some low and mid housing complexes so that people can have that. And
it's just a hidden tax on the rest of the people who buy it.
It may be a hidden tax, but the problem is we're left to totally the free market system. There would be no low-income affordable housing.
If we had a totally free market system, we absolutely would have affordable housing.
How do you figure that?
Because you'd have land, you'd have all sorts of land available for people to build all sorts of different types.
Then it'd look like LA.
I mean, look at what's happening. One of the most you want to talk about what qualifies as affordable housing.
Yeah.
A mobile home park is affordable housing. A lot of the people who live there have very low rents. I mean, their cost of housing is very low. It's affordable housing. It's not housing that I would choose, but it is affordable. With the land use and the UGB that we have, the land values have become so valuable that the owners of these parks are being given astronomical offers by developers to come in and do something else with it. So they are pushing all of the mobile home folks out of their parks. So you see mobile home parks closing all over the metropolitan area. That is affordable housing that the market provided, that because of government planning and government rules, we're now seeing them squeezed out of the marketplace. So this idea that the market wouldn't provide affordable housing is bull. And what we see are the consequences of our planning, and what we're doing is squeezing people in, and that is driving up values. And as all these values go up, there isn't much affordable housing left around. And then the government that creates the problem comes in and says, well, we'll provide a tax or a subsidy, or we'll do something. We created the problem, and we can also provide the solution. First of all, as annoying as that is, the government is never going to be able to build enough affordable housing to meet the need. It will never be able to do it. And so we just keep compounding the problem.
Well,
Yeah.
the paper today said the Portland Housing outfit is selling about 150 homes that they have scattered around Portland, and they're doing that to get money to build affordable housing. And they're not selling these houses to low-income people at below market value, and they already own them. They are taking 7 or 8, and the Portland Development Commission, for whatever reason, is going to buy them and then make those available. But you just wonder, what are they doing? I mean,
Yeah.
if they bought these and the thing
Yeah.
was to have affordable housing, well, turn around. If you don't want to rent them, if it's too much of a nuisance, and believe me, I know the nuisance of renting houses, then sell them to people at a reasonable price. Give them a low down payment. You hold the paper. If they don't pay, kick them out and put another person in. Give them the
Yeah.
opportunity.
It's again a situation of unintended consequences. Another unintended consequences is allowing development fees to be charged, which makes sense to pay for sewers and street installations, so the people moving in there help share the cost
Right.
of the neighborhoods, and now schools and also parks, which again also contributes to higher prices. But the worst of it is that it's literally chased out all the drive-in theaters. You have to go to
Is that-
Newburgh.
oh, the Newburg one is still there. That's
Newburgh
it.
is the only
There
place
used to be
where
one in
there's-
Beaverton, didn't
There
there?
did, right over by the school headquarters. And
Well, for
Yeah.
any of our viewers that are out near Gresham or towards Boring, that land used to be mostly farmland. And as you drive, from Clackamas Town Center towards Boring, it is just row upon row upon row, thousands of these houses, which there's no way that they are what I would consider low income or affordable
Well, and here's
housing.
the thing too: when you get out looking for land to build these affordable houses on, you get further and further out, and then these people have no way to commute in if they're lower income people. If you don't build right on the transit line,
Yeah.
So that's all we have time for today. I'd like to thank my panelists for sharing their opinions and showing up with fabulous